Assalamu alaikum, this is Dr. Fab. Right now I'm recording this because this is my direct message to Erdogan, who is like a brother for me. I have a lot of admiration and respect for Erdogan, how he's led Turkey. I have, unfortunately, a lot of concerns about the ongoing crisis that is happening right now in Syria. And my concern is that this is a trap laid out by Trump and Israel and the NATO forces. I've been one of the first ones to speak up about the hegemonic agenda of US and NATO to create Kurdistan out of three sovereign nations like Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. I have always spoken up against the proxy wars of the supernations, including US and Russia, in Muslim countries that have led to total decimation of Syria. My concern is that what Erdogan is being led into is a trap. US under Trump administration is setting up a trap for Erdogan, telling him that it's okay to go inside Syria and bomb the Syrian regime and bomb the Russian forces. But the reality is this, that what Trump is doing is trying to get a free war that could neutralize the two biggest contenders of the Israelis, including Erdogan himself, who has always spoken up against the Israeli war crimes, has always been there for the Gaza victims, has always been there for the Palestinians. He is someone that Israel has no respect for, that the Zionist media houses are always thrashing about. And the biggest thing is that he has created a system in Turkey that is free of the fiscal dependence upon the central banks that are under the control of Israel. And that is something that they cannot tolerate. And what has recently happened is that Erdogan led a movement amongst the Muslim nations where he tried to carve out a separate fiscal system that will be independent of the ongoing fiscal dependence and economic dependence of the Muslim nations upon the central banking system of US and of Zionists and of Israel. And that is something that's a big deal for them. Look what they did to Mahathir. Like within a few months after they tried to do the Kuala Lumpur summit, look what they did to Mahathir. He resigned, and now their target is Erdogan. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to lead Erdogan into a trap, telling them all is clear, you can do whatever you want. But the reality is this, that they're going to have Kremlin and Istanbul fight each other neck to neck. And we both know that Kremlin has also played a significant role in exposing the hegemonic agenda of the Zionists in front of the world. And so in this war, the losses are going to be of those people who are trying to expose the elite, who are trying to expose the agenda of the Rothschilds, who are trying to expose the agenda of those dirty bankers and those dirty oil companies and those war profiteering military industrial complex owners who have been literally profiting from the bloodshed of innocent Muslims and who have literally benefited from the decimation of so many Muslim nations, who have incited wars in the name of crusade, who have played on the vulnerabilities of various populations all over the world, who have played upon the greed, who have played upon the religious vulnerabilities of various factions all over the world to incite a crusade-like war against the Muslims, making Muslims kill each other. So Iran and Saudi Arabia are fighting with each other neck to neck. We know already in Yemen. And in Syria as well, we have seen the bloodshed of so many Muslim people in the name of proxy war between Russia and US that has been fully facilitated by various Muslim nations. And so this is a trap. Erdogan, this is a trap. They're trying to trap you. They love the Kurds. There is a buildup of a narrative in US right now that you are working with Al-Qaeda and you're working with terrorist factions that have been let loose and empowered as the US forces are leaving Syria. And this is the narrative buildup right now. And they're actually coming up with a bill right now that is gonna officially stop all kinds of support to you. So when you get totally entangled in the middle of this war in Syria, fighting Assad, who is basically not your enemy, who is basically an enemy of the Zionists, and fighting Russia and Putin, who has been fighting the Zionists himself, and you're thinking that the US forces and Trump is going to help you and NATO is going to help you. They are not going to help you. Most of them are very upset about the Kurds, and most of them have pampered the Kurds all these years as their biggest allies, and they want a Kurdistan created out of this war. They want both Erdogan and Putin to totally annihilate each other because both of them are strong. Both of them are strong leaders and both of them are strong warriors. And they know if a war broke out, which is happening right now between Russia and Turkey as the main contenders, the results are going to be annihilating and catastrophic for the rest of the world. And this is going to be good for the MIC, this is going to be good for the oil industry, and it is going to be great for Israel because its agenda of greater Israeli expansion is going to be achievable as Turkey is taken off and it's taken down technically. And this is going to destroy Turkey. This could even drain Russia, even though it's a nuclear power and it's very strong, but it does not have a very strong economy right now. Everybody's suffering because of the coronavirus. Everybody's suffering. So Putin has to think 10 times also before he steps into it all the way. Then we have Iran. Iran has to make an effort. Iran has to go out of the way. Rouhani has to mediate a peace treaty between Turkey and between Russia right now, and between Turkey and between Assad right now. It is important because at the end of the day, whose blood is going to be spilled? Whose blood is going to be shed over here? It is going to be Muslim blood. Who's going to be dying? Who's going to pay the cost of this war? Muslims, Syrian Muslims. Who is dying over there? Syrian Muslims are dying. Syrian people are dying. And who are they? They are brothers. Syrians are our brothers too. So this is what Israel wants. Israel wants us to kill each other, to fight with each other and forget about it. And that's what's happening right now. So this is how they've been able to achieve their hegemonic agenda in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and now in Syria. And it is imperative that we realize what is going on. It is my humble request to Erdogan. I have been trying to convey this message to him many times, and I humbly request Erdogan to kindly step out of Syria. And I request Rouhani, and I request our Chief of Army Staff, General Qamar Bajwa, and I request Imran Khan to step in and try to mediate a truce and a peace treaty between Russia, between Assad, and between Erdogan. It is good for everybody. It is good for Muslims, and it is good for the rest of the world. And my last thing that I want to say again, that I'm reiterating, is that kindly do not depend on US and NATO. They are not going to be there for you when you turn back. They will give you a little bit of lollipop, they will give you a little bit of peanuts, but they are not going to be there for you to help you to take down Assad. It is their war, it is not your war. You can talk to Assad like a brother to brother. You can discuss things with him over a cup of coffee. You don't have to have a war with the Assad. And Putin has been fighting against the Zionist hegemonic agenda since day one. So why do you want to have a fight with him? He's been fighting against Israel all this time. So why do you want to have a fight with him? You should sit down together and try to make some sense out of it. Who's going to benefit the most from this war? Who's going to get killed from this war? The nation that's going to benefit the most is Israel. The people who are going to suffer the most are the Syrian Muslims. And who are Syrian Muslims? They are the brothers of Erdogan. They're the brothers of Rouhani. They're the brothers of Pakistanis. They're the brothers of every Muslim in the world. So why are we doing the same thing that we've been doing for years and years, spilling each other's blood, which is not even allowed? If you look at our faith and ideology in Islam, we are not even allowed to kill our brothers. And we already have a serious war going on in Yemen, and now we're going to have Erdogan and Assad holding each other by the neck, trying to kill each other. And then Russia, Putin, I know Putin is trying to bring about peace, but having said that, when there's so much of, escalation of violence, he will have to give a rebuttal, and the rebuttal is going to lead to the death of no one else but Turkish soldiers. And who are Turkish soldiers? They are brothers too. So it is imperative for the peacemakers, including General Qamar Bajwa, Rouhani, and I would say whoever can chip in, to sit down together and try to mediate a peace treaty right now, this moment. I appreciate your patience for listening to me, and I hope what I said makes sense to all of you. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.